Hello, it's Leanne Peters here. I'm from templeofbalance.com.au, Temple of Balance on Facebook, and Temple of Balance on YouTube. And I'm here to create our personal healing event for patrons. So thank you so much for joining me today. The cat's here. She loves it when I'm down here. Oh, she doesn't want me to pick her up. She wants to stay plonked down here, but is happy for me to pat her. So if you hear purring, it's from the cat. So thanks for stopping by. This healing event is one of two that I do each month for patrons. So we have our personal healing event, which is this one, and our healing list event. So the personal healing event, hi Anita. The personal healing event, which is this one, this is specifically for 5 of my Temple of Balance patrons who pledge US $50 or more for this month. So thank you so much for your support. And the healing list event, which will be happening on Tuesday, that's for those who pledge $15 US dollars or more. So I'll talk more about that event on Tuesday, but this particular one, I'm spending about 10 minutes connecting with each of the 5 people on my healing list today. So this is a bit like having your own personal healing guidance, if you like, and I'll be tuning in with these particular people specifically. So if you're not someone on my list, then you're very welcome to be here and connect. I'm sure there isn't no accident you happen to be here. So there might be something shared that might actually resonate with you and what you're going through right now. It's not uncommon for that to happen. In fact, I get emails about it all the time. So if you're not on my list, don't think that this is pointless. If you're drawn to be here, then I encourage you to be here for as long as you can or for as long as it resonates. If you are on my list today, then I look forward to connecting with you. I've put your names here in my little bowl. So I've got in this bowl, we've got Carol White, we've got Susan Sonsteng, we've got Annick Beal and KantiDevi Wedad and David Magness. So you're all in here. I'm going to pick you out randomly in a moment. I'm going to be using, we'll probably start the healing connection with my my In Creation Healing Energy cards number 2. And then when I'm finishing your connection, I will pull a healing energy cards from my original deck. So we'll do that. If I am connecting with you, or if you're open to receiving something from someone else's guidance, I encourage you to listen, not only with your ears, but listen with your body, listen with your heart. Feel what's coming through for you, and just, as always, just take on board what feels right, what resonates with you at the time. Maybe come back and connect with the recording from time to time over this next month and see how it sort of settles into place. I'm highly sensitive to energy, so I've been doing this work. I've been doing self-healing for over 20 years, and I've been doing distant connections like this for over 15. And I'm sure we can all do it, but and it's a bit hard to explain, but I can tune in and connect with people, and I don't do it unless I'm doing something like this. I feel it's very rude and invasive. I wouldn't do it just everyday situations. I only do it in these types of moments when I've been given the access, if you like. So I tune in, and what I do is I become sensitive to the person I'm connecting with's energy. And how I usually become sensitive mainly is through feeling what's going on for them in my body. So whatever's loudest for them, whatever's loudest for you, if I'm connecting with you, I'm going to feel that in my body most likely. So I know my body really well, that I know what's not my energy. So I can sense, and I'm very highly sensitive to my body. So especially when I'm tuning in, I'll also get visions and flashes and scenarios that play out, and my intuition's really strong. I've been honing it for quite a long time. So I trust that. I interpret and deliver what I'm picking up as clearly as I can. Sometimes I will need to get something out or share something that I see, even if it makes no sense to me, and that usually gets the energy moving, so I get more information about the bigger picture of what I'm picking up. Some people I connect with, and it might be very visual, very talky, experience, and sometimes I find that very mental healing sort of based. Other times it might be a little slower to connect, but it just really depends on the current energy. So what I'm really interested in is, if I'm connecting with you, is what's loudest in your vibration. So whatever's loudest that's going on for you is going to be what gets my attention first. And then we're going to shift through, I'll talk through and we'll do whatever. And I'll just trust in the unfolding and we'll see what happens. I have no plan. I don't know what we're going to do or what I'm going to talk about at all. I haven't tuned into anyone yet. It's very much in the moment. So that's kind of what I'll be doing from my perspective. So I think there's nothing else I need to say. So enjoy, and we'll see who's first on my list today. It's this person. First up is Carol White. So Carol, where can I put you? We'll put you, because it's getting a little windy, under my little stand here. And I'm going to grab a healing energy card from this deck first. That's just going to start the tuning in, although usually when I'm shuffling, the tuning in begins. And we'll see what's going on. So Carol White, take a nice big breath for me. Okay, so your card for now is this, card 92, called Dedicated Focus. And it says, be consistent for improvement. So you're being encouraged to be consistent at this time and stay focused. I'm just going to put that card aside. I'm going to try not to think about that card now. I'm just going to put it aside and I'm going to just tune in to your energy, Carol. The first thing I'm picking up really loudly is a pressure that's coming around the back of the head. So from behind the ears, all across the back here, and going down the back of the neck, and also towards the back of the heart. So it's like a shape, I guess, that runs down below the crown, behind the ears, down the back, and sort of tapers down the back of the heart. And it feels heavy. It feels like a pushing energy and a pressure that I'm feeling. If I could describe it as a colour, it will be a dark grey colour, and it's almost like a dark grey piece of material of some sort. Doesn't feel metallic. Maybe it's a bit more like a leather, like a dark grey leather that's sort of attached, we could say, I guess, to this area. It feels like it's pushing down. Just really feel like I can't really put my head up right now. Feels like it's pushing down on your energy. So there's a heavy energy that's coming through. It's definitely connected with the mind and your mental state. Also the back of your third eye chakra, so trust issues that you might have, or a lack of trust right now in the process, in the unfolding, and also connecting in at the back of the heart, so something very close to your heart. That's also coming into play here. It's starting to get very itchy energy, so there's energy moving around the back of the heart on a wider, broader area here. So there's shifting happening at the back of the heart. A lot of this is over the back of the body, so that tells me that this is very strongly connected to the past, but stuff that's playing out now. So it might be fear that's arising now, which actually stems from the past, or stuff that's been stirred and triggered from the past, and it's definitely in these upper areas is what I'm feeling. I'm feeling also this energy now extending over the shoulders, and especially sitting heavy in the small here of the neck, but it extends out over the shoulders, and it feels like a burden too that you carry. So there's a general sense of heaviness that's coming in through this top part of the body. So let me just tune in a little further. I feel connected with this. We've got energy moving here in the belly. There's a nauseous feeling that's coming up. So this is some current emotion that's also stirring, but it's likely stemmed or sourcing from this energy that I'm picking up around the back. So this past stuff and this strong mental energy that's playing out too, that's creating a weight on the body energetically. So there's energy moving in the belly that feels like emotion that's stirring up in here. Okay. And I'm getting this vision in my mind's eye of a hill or a mountain, but it's very rounded, just up in the distance. And this stag is appearing now, this stag with huge antlers. And I know your personal connection with stag, I just clicked, Carol. And this stag has huge antlers. It's like the king of the, oh, what do you call it? I forget what you call the group of stags, of deer now. And I should know because I grew up around deer and things like that. But I forget what they're called now. But I feel like this particular stag is like the leader of the group, the family of deer that it governs, if you like. And this stag is here and it's wanting to lead you towards this hill. But it's not really, it's not a small hill, it's either a large hill or a small mountain, but it's very rounded. And this stag wants to lead you. So I see it walking on your path and it wants to lead you forward. It's very dark, dark brown in its colourings. And it's not, of course, saying anything, but I feel like it's gesturing and it's turning its head now to look ahead. So I want you to look ahead and look towards the horizon, look towards what you're walking towards. Even if you feel like you might be walking towards a mountain, a bit of an obstacle at this time, I feel like you still need to look ahead. So look ahead so you can conquer and overcome this obstacle, this mountain that's right before you. And as I'm talking about this, I'm already feeling that uncertain, heavy energy that I talked about at the very beginning, and that burden energy all around the back here. I feel that already starting to lighten up. So there's a feeling here of try your best not to, what's the best words to describe this? So try your best not to wait back or hesitate back or be cautious and holding back. There's a feeling of how to overcome what you're dealing with now or feeling in your body is to actually step up and step forward and just step into this obstacle. And I see you almost not charging, but I feel you very focused and quite assertive as you step now and walk towards, on this path towards this mountain and this obstacle that's sort of right before you on the horizon. Because you can overcome this. I feel like it's about, instead of, there's a creative solution here, is what I'm feeling. And I feel that this is part of what's stirring up in the belly, is not only an anxiety or a helplessness perhaps feeling, or an uncertainty about how to proceed. There is also a creative element that's stirring. And you've been encouraged to kind of feel what you're feeling, but let the creativity, let the solution arise, because that's going to help you be able to step forward and move towards this obstacle. So as you get closer to this mountain, it starts to look more like a hill, and it's actually quite smooth, and it's just looks like it's covered in green, it's covered in grass. It doesn't feel like there's rocks or jagged areas. It's just like a mound of hill or mountain, but covered in grass. And I feel as you get closer to it, you're going to see that it actually is more of a hill rather than a mountain, which is kind of how it looks from this distance. So find the courage to keep moving forward towards this obstacle that you see, because a creative solution is going to arise. I feel that really strongly. And as I'm talking about this, all that energy shifting off the back of your body up here, and I just brush that off. And it is like a piece of leather now that's just loose and just coming off. So just brushing that energy off. And just allowing this energy to stir in your sacral chakra, in your belly, because this is the emotion that's going to lead into a solution. So, you know, it might be a helplessness, it might be an anger, it might be an uncertainty, but I feel that emotion is actually going to lead you to the solution that you need, and it's a creative solution that's probably going to come from your feelings, your emotions. The cat's coughing up a fur ball beside me. Just excuse my cat here. We'll pull a card here to just see what it wants to add for you, Carol. I trust this resonates and makes some sense for you. And we've got Freedom card 27. It's actually, let me just grab this other card out from under here without moving things too much. These are actually very, very, oops. My tripod is just so heavy here. I'll fix it in a second. These have got very similar colours, these two cards. So we've got your card from before, dedicated focus, and freedom. This is very much about mental freedom. So be careful you're not getting too swept up mentally, and sit in your feelings with this, because it's the feelings that are going to morph into a creative solution, is what I'm feeling. So don't let your worries and negative thoughts take over. Let them go as best as you can. Don't allow them to take away your power. Get back in charge of your mind, thoughts, and focus on clarity. Dedicated focus. Focus on being consistent so that things can improve. So there is a very similar theme that's coming through with these two cards. So thank you so much, Carol. I trust this resonates, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, let's get these cards back in, and I want to fix my tripod. I've got this, my tripod's very worn out, this little thing, and it keeps doing the splits and things because I've got this big, I had it right before. I'll have to lower it and lift it or something. I've got this heavy, let's just rotate it a bit actually, sorry. Just bear with me a second, please. Yeah, I've got this stand here that's got my microphone and my phone on it, but it's so heavy that my poor little tripod keeps doing the splits. Okay, let's see who's next on my list. So, we have this person. It's Susan. Susan Sonsteng. Susan, take a nice big breath. This is your time now. I feel like we're very close, but... Okay, let's see which card you get, Susan, and I'll tune in and see what comes up for you. Oops. I was being oh so careful. That's all right, just needs a reshuffle. So I trust you're feeling well there, and this is coming through loud and clear. The best card for you, Susan, as I prepare to tune in, I'm not going to let it go because it's here still on top. It's this. It's called 100, it's card 103, and it says, "The runway is clear. Preparing for the new arrival." This is interesting. So this is you in the door of change. It's here now. You're not waiting for it any longer. You haven't just been through it. It's here. So it's you now standing in the door of change. You're not approaching it. You haven't just left it. It's here right now. It's landed. The new has landed. You have prepared for the arrival of the new. And I feel that you're ready. So there's this silhouette of you in this doorway of light, which is actually quite inspiring. So Susan, take a nice big breath, and I'll tune into your energy, and we'll see what's loudest in your vibration, in your energy space today. Okay. Okay, so the first thing I feel I want to talk about is that I feel like there's a chunk of you that's been removed. This is probably the best words that I can use right now. I'm getting this visual of a chunk that's been taken out. I don't know if this is literal or if it's an energetic chunk or something that's changed for you, but I just feel like there's this chunk of you that's been taken out, and it is a big chunk. And it feels like it's actually been taken out of your heart energetically. So there's a chunk of you that's been taken out of the heart. It's almost like it's been cut out or something energetically here. Something that's perhaps been taken away, something that's no longer there. Something's been taken out. It could be, if we're talking energetically or emotionally, it could be like an old dream or an old way of life. It could be something quite literal that's happening in your life. I don't know where this fits at this time, but it just feels like a chunk of you has been taken away, and it feels like it comes, or it's something that's close to your heart. And I get this visual now of a butterfly, and I feel like you're under transformation at this time. And I see the top part of your wings seems to be getting my attention here, and really allowing yourself to rise up and move forward is the best words here that I can use. And there's this soaring feeling, because I feel this butterfly now is transformed into a bird, and this bird is now like... it's like it's focused on something, and it's just almost charging forward but I can't see its wings flap. So I guess it's like a bird maybe that's gone to a height and it's got its eye on something and it just drops down like this, although it feels like it's moving more on the horizontal. So on the horizontal, this is about your path. This is about honing in and focusing on where you want to go, what you want to do, even if it's only something very simple, something that's very doable, and it could be just something that just even gets you through the day. But I feel like you've focused on something and moving towards it, and very much, like I say, on the horizontal, so that tells me on your life's path. So be careful that you're not getting distracted by what's been taken out, this chunk that's been taken away from you or from your life or from your goals or your dreams or whatever this might be. Be careful you're not focusing on that kind of loss, I guess we could say, and instead you're being encouraged to turn your focus towards something that you need to find a focus on. So it's like, so if I was a bird of prey, it's like finding the prey. Like if you're an eagle flying, soaring around above and you spot a rabbit or something that's going to be your prey, it feels like getting your eyes on that and locking on what it is that you want, and then moving towards it, just like the eagle would move towards its prey. Or so it's almost like casting a line out on your path and letting that line, like that fishing line, anchor somewhere in your future. So it might be in a few days' time, a few weeks or months, or however far ahead that whatever this focus is, and then sort of reeling yourself to that where you're going towards. So I feel like finding a focus on something is going to be really important, and realizing that you've got plenty of time for this, because I'm seeing an hourglass, and the top part of the hourglass is larger than the bottom part. So you're not running out of time, which I want to emphasize. You're not running out of time at all. So you just need to find something to focus on, something that can carry you through. It could be a project, a goal, dedication. It might be something daily that you want to practice that will give you an incentive, a direction, a focal point in moving forward. I feel like this will free up a lot for you and help also recover what's been taken away in some way. So I don't know if this is you getting it back or just filling up that chunk with a new sense of purpose and a new focus and direction. And I think that's really what it is, isn't it? It's focusing on the direction that you want to go. So it might take a couple of days for you to figure out and feel upon what is it that focus needs to be. And it's something very specific, because I'm feeling it as a very specific thing. And I keep pointing here because I just feel like this path moves off here to the right and over into the distance. And there's a focus, some type of focus, some type of anchor point, some new direction that you can go now. Let's grab a healing energy card just to see what that wants to add here. And we will see. So let any uncertainty turn into clarity. Sit with it for a couple of days perhaps and see what that focus needs to be. And it could be connected with this card that we had before. The runway is clear, preparing for the new arrival. The new has landed. And this card is truth. Archangel Michael, removal of illusion, fear, lies, deceit, and everything that's holding you back. And we could say, just based on what I was feeling before, that chunk and what you feel is missing or lost, or what you're grieving, if you like, that's not here anymore. Freedom, truth, throat chakra, protection, strength, warrior, courage, personal power. So as you shift through that energy that's very real, illusional energy, we might think, oh gosh, I'm pretending, or I'm not really feeling something. It could feel very, very real to us. So I feel to help you refocus from what's not here or what's missing, that chunk, that what's represented by that chunk energy that's been taken away or removed, is to refocus on something more positive that gives you more direction in your life moving forward. And shifting out of that will also help align you further with your truth, and the truth really of who you are. So you might be feeling a little bit lost, a little bit uncertain, maybe even grieving at this time in some way. But the refocus is what I feel is quite important right now. And that will lead you towards your freedom. And like I said before, it doesn't have to be anything complicated, but maybe something really simple. It could be a daily gratitude that you offer, or a daily task that you set yourself for now, like exercise or going for a walk or whatever it is that you're able to do. So I trust that resonates for you, Susan, and thanks so much for allowing me to connect with you, and thanks for your support. Okay, next on my list is this person. It is KantiDevi Wedad. Take a nice big breath for me, KantiDevi, and we'll see what comes up for you today. So welcome everyone, thanks for stopping by. If you've just joined in, this is my special personal healing event for patrons, some of my Temple of Balance patrons. If you want to learn more about my Patreon, please have a look at the link that's connected with this video. And if you want to join in next month, then you're very welcome to sign up for April. April already, wowzers, not far away, is it? And I look forward to connecting with you if it's something that inspires you. So, KantiDevi, wow, I'm making a real mess of these cards today. KantiDevi, your card is this. It's, card 71. And it says, releasing expectations. Trust in the flowing movement. Release your expectations about what you should do, where you should be, how you should do it. Thanks, Anita. And just trust in that flow and trust in that unfolding. Letting things be. Let's tune in, KantiDevi, and see. Okay. First thing that I'm picking up from you, KantiDevi, is a big arrow pointing down, moving down into the earth for your healing. And you're being encouraged to use these next few weeks, is the feeling, to go down into the earth. So whether this is fairly literally or not, I'm feeling this is quite energetic for you to take yourself down into the earth. Maybe visualize yourself in a cave, a crystal cave, or being held in a cocoon, or a cave, or a space within the earth. And it sort of reminds me a bit of this card, even though this felt very galactic. This also, when I was drawing it, all these little circles, they felt like tiny little particles of dirt. So really being down in the earth feels to be helpful. What I'm being drawn to is your hips around the back, and then towards your so the lower part of your back, just above your tailbone. So it's really just low on the sacral chakra at the back. So it's your lower back, but very low back, not quite the tailbone. So there's a brace, I feel, an energetic brace that's linking your hips, and then sort of like a nail or a screw, a bolt or something that's bolting into the very center of your spine there, just like I say, the lower part of your sacral chakra. It actually feels quite painful just in that spot where this kind of bolt is bolted in, but it feels like a silvery brace that's bracing you back here. What's it bracing you for? I feel like it's bracing you to help keep you safe, but I feel at the same time it's actually holding you back. I feel like this is an old brace, even though it's very active now, and I can tell it's active now because it looks new, it looks shiny and new, but I feel like it's also old. So I feel like this is an old brace, an old way of you protecting yourself from the past, in past situations where you found yourself suppressed, repressed, and held back. And almost gagged, but not, because I don't feel that energy up here, but it's stopping you from actually stepping into your power and stepping into what you love. So there was a restriction or a suppression in general of you from the past, and I feel like there's something stirring up about this now for you in your life. And what I feel I want to say, and what I'm feeling here, is that this brace doesn't serve you. It doesn't support you anymore. It actually doesn't even keep you safe. It actually holds you back. And this is the thing with some sort of energetic mechanisms that we put or safeguard ourselves from, or we put up as safeguards to protect ourselves from being hurt or abused or put down, or even, to protect ourselves from the end of our life. I think if we're in survival situations, we're going to summon parts of ourselves up or suppress parts of ourselves back so that we can survive, because all our body wants to do is survive. So I feel in the past there was something that you needed to suppress, which is I'm seeing in this brace, because of your fear to survive. And it was a big suppression thing, is the feeling here, suppressing you from stepping out into your power and being who you are. So we reach a point in our life where, well, that serves a purpose to keep us safe and protected, but we do reach a point in our life where it actually becomes a block. Because it stays there, and then at times when we might be in a situation that feels somewhat similar or stirs a similar feeling or fear, it can bring that old survival mechanism that we put into place, it can bring that up again. So I feel like this has been brought up again. It's coming up now, and we need to get it out. So the bolt, I feel like it's very long, and the back of it is at the lower parts of your lower back, and it's quite long moving through, and it feels like actually like it comes to a point, so it's not technically a bolt, maybe more like a nail, but it sort of has a bolt thickness feeling to it, or we could say a really thick nail, and the point of it stabs just on the inside of your belly. So if your skin, the outside of your belly was here, it's like the point of the nail just tips here. So anytime a certain emotion comes up, it feels like it stabs you and points in really, it feels like it's quite painful. So energetically and emotionally painful as it comes up. So let's get this out and remove this brace. It served its purpose in the past, but it's no longer serving its purpose now. Okay, so I'm just imagining now that I've got my fingers around here at the back where this bolt or nail is, and I'm just pinching the end and just gently loosening this and just turning it clockwise ever so slightly, and just loosening this just a little bit. And as this loosens a little bit, it's also starting to loosen the brace that's kind of locked your hips into place and locked your hips back. So this is starting to loosen too, these clamps of the brace, are loosening out. And now loosening this bolt, this nail further, and now just gently pulling it out and out and out and out. It's quite long, and out. It's actually quite long, and dropping it down to the earth where it just returns back to love. This also allows this brace just to drop away and drop down to the earth where it just returns back to love as well. And it's quite a clanky, braces kind of feeling, but around your hips. And so clanky drops to the ground. Now you've got this sort of open area, or we could say exposed area, that feels a bit open, raw, naked, vulnerable around the back here. So now just bringing some energy through, and I'm feeling this really deep purple. This really deep purple energy. This is wisdom. This is wisdom coming in and understanding about the situation to help you move forward. So it's just like this cloud of very dark, almost black purple. And it's just sweeping around your hips and all this area where this brace was, and also filling in that space where that nail or energetic screw was, filling all that with this cloudy, very dense purple and dark purple. And that's helping, bring this wisdom to this situation for you. So let's grab a healing energy card to see what that wants to add here, KantiDevi. So I trust this is resonating and makes some sense to you. I feel this is going to help you get your power back, especially your emotional power, because I feel now I'm sitting and just sitting with this energy. I feel like this was an emotional suppression, a suppression of who you are emotionally, which actually stopped you from being who you are physically. So this is going to help bring more of an emotional power to you, or an emotional strength, we could say. Now, just a healing energy card to see what this wants to add to what I've already talked about. It's reunion card 31. And this is the masculine energy. It says ancient wisdom awakened. So that confirms already that purple energy, the wisdom that's coming in here that I've talked about. Divine masculine power is emerging. This is the power, this is the strength of you, especially emotionally, which is going to lead to your physical strength. And you might feel quite inspired to actually get a little bit stronger physically. You might feel quite energetic to get some core strength happening in your physical body. I would not be surprised. It says reunion with God, of God with Goddess. So we could say masculine and feminine, yin with yang, opening of the crown chakra. This is the divine masculine. So this is your masculine energy. This is the power, the courage, the confidence that arises from what you've been shifting and what we've been shifting today. So this is a rise in your power, in your strength, in your courage to be who you are, to feel what you feel, and know that you are not going to be harmed for feeling your feelings or doing what you need to do in your life. So I trust this makes sense for you, KantiDevi. Thank you so much for allowing me to connect with you, and thanks for your support. Namaste. Okay, how are we all doing? I've got 2 more people to connect with. Let me just grab my cards. It is absolutely wonderful. Thanks, Anita. It's absolutely beautiful out here. The wind's picking up a bit now, but it's really quite nice and warm. It is a little unfortunate we can't be out camping today, because I had this weekend down for camping, but we're not really allowed to camp, and I've closed all the campsites down, so I just have to stay here and spend some time with you, which is also very fun. So next on my list is David Magness. Are you watching? Let's see which card wants to come up for you to begin with, and then I will tune in and we'll see what's loudest in your vibration today. So David, nice big breath. Oh, yes. Oops. Just felt a lot of energy just shift then in the belly. So I took that really big breath. So take some really nice big breaths, David, and especially bring those big breaths down into your belly. Just taking some nice big breaths and even pushing out your belly as you breathe in, and just releasing some of that tension that you hold there. So your best card as we begin your connection today is this. I love this card. Isn't it adorable? Card 70. It says new power rising. I love it. New power rising. Conqueror of obstacles. Conquering your obstacles. Allowing a new power to rise. It has a similar feeling to when I was connecting with KantiDevi there. So there might be a similar, an overlap here that's coming into play, and sometimes that happens. It's like when I'm doing spirit guide drawings, and sometimes similar energies might come through in, in different ways, but, there might be, like when I was drawing on Thursday, both drawings I did had pyramids in them. So often there's a theme that runs through. It's like when you do a bunch of readings in a day, at an expo or something, you have the same 4 or 5 cards that come up the whole day. It just happens like that. So we're all connected is what that's basically highlighting. So David, new power rising in you, and the conqueror of obstacles. That's you, the conqueror of obstacles. So take a nice big breath and we'll tune in and see what's going on, what's loudest in your vibration. I see you walking up a couple of steps, and it's like 2 or 3 steps up into this doorway. So I feel you actively moving up these steps now and into this doorway of a room or a building. It's a doorway that goes inside. And it must go inside to a building because I actually feel like you're outside and then walking up these few steps and into a building and the internal space of a building. Okay, and on the floor of this room, it just feels to be one room at this time, is a shape, and it's like a diamond, but with one of the ends of the diamond cut across. So it's a diamond like this with a flat end. So isn't that like a pentagram? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, I think it's like a pentagram shape, and it's right down on the floor, flat. So like a painted on or paved on or something, but it's quite large and down on the floor, and it's dark, so it's a grey sort of colour, and the rest of the floor looks white. And you step into it, but it's like you're sort of gliding just smoothly towards the centre of this pentagram, which is right in the centre of the room. And as you lock into that centre position, all these beams of light start radiating off you in all directions, above, below, front, back, diagonally, all across, just like you have just become this disco ball or something, and all this light radiating out from you. And I feel very strongly connected to a beam of light that's coming off on the diagonal. It feels like it's coming out of your heart, and it's shooting up this way to the right and down this way to the left. So if you had your arms out, it would be sort of like this movement, because that sort of aligns in with the heart. So it's coming straight out from your heart, and it's moving up to the right. And this is really getting my attention, so I'm just feeling on what this is about. So as I focus on this beam of radiance, it's very light golden energy moving up from the right, from your heart. It seems to form into a triangle, like a triangle doorway, a portal for you to walk through. I feel like there's lots going on for you on a spiritual level at this time. I feel like there's a huge awakening that's taking place and a huge step into your power. So I see this portal, and it's emerging from your heart. In fact, you've beamed it. So from the the pentagram shape on the floor, as you got into that center position, all these beams of light radiating off around you, but especially this one coming from the heart and up, has led into this portal, and this portal, like just a triangle doorway, has opened up here right beside you on the right. And if you reach your arm out, your tips of your fingers would just be in the doorway, so it's about an arm's length away. So I'm just feeling what we need to do now. I feel like your path is turning. Your path is changing. So you were walking before, of course, we're always walking forward, hopefully. So your path is always, tends to be ahead, in front. But what I'm feeling is we need to take a turn of your path and now move towards this portal that's right beside you. So you might find this playing out in your life as a change of direction in your life right now. You might have a change of feeling, a change of truth, a change of attitude, a change maybe quite literally in your physical life that is causing you to actually turn onto a whole new path. So and it's okay for you to do that, because I feel that you're in this center of this pentagram. Oh gosh, what's it called? Pentagon. Sorry. In the center of this pentagon, it's almost like this is the point where you can pivot. It's like a pivot point or a turning point. So in that position, it's like you're pinned, and it's like when you're sewing on a sewing machine and you want to turn corner. If you're sewing a corner, and you'd sew straight down the path right here, and then you'd need to put your pin in, turn all the fabric so that your new course that you were taking is this new path that's along the other side of the fabric. And it's the exact same thing I'm feeling here. So it's like you're pinned in at this pentagon, and as you're pinned in, you can pivot and look towards this portal, because I feel this portal is what's calling you forward now. And it's a golden portal triangular, and you've been encouraged to step into it. So there's a change of path for you, a change of direction, and there's nothing to be afraid of at all. I feel like you're completely ready for this, and you've been preparing for it your whole lifetime. You've been preparing for it. When you stop and think and feel upon that, you will know that that is true. You've been preparing for this moment your whole life. So there's nothing to be afraid of at all. So find the courage to spin and turn and face your portal, because it calls you. And it calls you into something pretty amazing over here. So your future path from here feels like, it almost feels like it doesn't exist now. Where you were walking before, and maybe where you were walking previously, has changed. So find the courage now, as you are aligned, to pivot and turn and start walking in this new direction. And it's okay to do that. All you need to do is find courage and maybe visualize yourself rotating to the right a quarter turn, and then taking that step. And the strides forward that you're being encouraged to take, it's coming from your heart. So keep following your heart, and your heart will lead you there anyway. But how I'm seeing it right now is this turning point for you that's going right in this other direction towards this portal. And this portal brings with it something pretty special. Let's see what the other healing energy card wants to add here for you, David. And we'll see. So exciting, actually. This feels very exciting. New power rising. You're the conqueror of obstacles. The absolute conqueror of obstacles. So let your new power rise. And the card to go with this is here. Reconnection. So this is plugging back in to your heart. Plugging back in. Well, it's not even plugging back in. I get this visual with this card is that unplugging. And you may have felt this a bit, gosh, where am I? Everything seems upside down, or I feel a bit strange, something's not quite right. Because I feel like there's this unplugging to plug back into the new. So it's a bit like what? I guess it's like if you had an appliance in your home that was plugged into this one power point, and you unplugged it and you moved it to the other side of the house and you plugged it in over there. So this is what I'm feeling here, is this unplugging, almost an unplugging from the course that you were taking, so you can plug back into this new course that wants to open up for you. And this is bringing forth a reconnection, clearing all separation and disconnection issues, which you may feel while you're unplugged. Unplugging is feeling disconnected or separate. Crown chakra opening, bridging illusion of fear with love, and look beyond the physical. So this goes beyond what you're seeing in your physical life at this time. So very, very interesting. I trust this resonates, David. Thanks so much for allowing me to connect with you and for your support. I really appreciate it. Namaste. Okay, that means lucky last on my list. This should be Annick. And it is. Funny that. Annick, you're next. Let me just pop these other cards away and I will tune in. Okay, I feel like I've been talking a lot. I suppose I have been talking for nearly 50 minutes. So let's see what comes up for you, Annick. Nice big breath for me. Oh, the first thing I'm picking up already is a painful energy here right on the left hip. So the left hip, that's about being pinned back to the past, and a part of you being held back at this time, but we'll look more into that in a minute. Okay, your best card for now, Annick, is this. 81, Adaptation. And it says weathering the storm and letting yourself adapt to the changes that are taking place. The changes that you're feeling and that you're being personally influenced by. Think about how you can adapt to them so that you can weather the storm and wait this out. There is a shapeshifter element too to this energy, so letting yourself shift and adapt to the situations that require you to be the different people that you need to be in the different roles that you play. Okay, let's tune in and see. So this hip energy is quite sharp, coming in here right on the hip bone on the left side here. And I feel this lack of something, a lack or a loss of something, a lack of direction, a lack of purpose, a loss of direction or purpose, a loss of meaning, or a feeling here of, I get this visual of something that was travelling along okay, being all tipped up and all a chaotic mess now. So there's that sort of energy that I'm feeling here that's connected. I'm also being drawn here to the left side of your head, which is a bit achy, especially around towards the back of the left sides. This tells me there's a lot of mental energy that's connecting in with this block here, I feel, at your left hip. So your hips are about movement in your life. And typically the left side is holding us back in the past. And in fact, I notice now I'm sitting like this. So you're here, I should be square on like this, but I feel like I actually want to sit like this. And I feel like your left side is actually pulling you back, wanting things to be how they used to be, perhaps. And your right side is trying to pull you forward. So you might find that there's a pull from your heart that wants you to, get on with things or get focused or keep going, keep moving forward. But there is that resistance or that part of you that's also locked back here in the past. So you might find mentally you probably swinging from emotion to emotion, high highs, low lows. You may also find mentally that you're quite focused on the past or quite focused on the future, or your anxiousness or nervousness about it, past or future, and you might find it really hard to stay focused on the now, right now at this time. This is quite characteristic of being out of balance, basically. I've seen this for years in this way. So there's a sense here right now that you're probably feeling quite out of balance. So what you might need to consider is how you can be aware of what you're thinking. And trust this isn't too blowy on the microphone. Become more aware of what you're thinking. So if you're catching yourself constantly thinking past stuff, or what happened, or constantly thinking or worrying about future stuff, see if you can be aware of that and bring your focus into the now. Just keep bringing your attention to your body. Feel your feet, feel your hands, roll your shoulders back, do some exercise or movement. Things that can help bring you into the moment are definitely connecting with your body. Now, in regards to energetically here, let's look at how we can unpin your hip from the past and how things were. It feels like a joy or a somewhat contentment of the past, but it feels like it's a long past. I feel like this is actually quite old. This is not recent past. I see this thread that connects from where you are now into the past that's old. We're talking years ago. And it's this thread, it's like a thread of string that's pinned into your left hip. And this string just flows out back into your past from years ago. And you can keep the memories, you can keep fond memories in your heart, but when they start taking you back and keeping and affecting your balance and your energy, that's not healthy. It's not good for our balance and our state, our well-being. So this feels like it connects with something fond, a really good memory, and something that you really miss. And you probably talk about, or maybe think about a lot, that you are missing, or remember this time, or this sort of stuff. You can hold the memories in your heart like a beautiful photo album that you visit sometimes, but try your best not to let the past take over. And it's really important to try and bring your focus in the now, because when you're so focused on the past, it brings up the opposite, which is worry, probably, and a fear of the future. So with this string, this thread that I feel taking off down into your past, I also feel this is creating a heaviness in your lower back. So the old emotions that are connected with this, I just feel like I want to cut this tie. So I just imagine I've got a big pair of scissors, and I'm just going to cut it straight off without even thinking about it or talking around this anymore. We're just going to cut it straight off there at the hip. So as it's cut off at the hip, it just withers away, this thread, this cord. It's just like black, it's turning black and withered like an old piece of root or something from a tree or a plant. So it just withers and fades away in the back here. And we just pull out that little knot there at your hip. And now we need to, I need to sit straight on and bring this hip and your whole left side into alignment with your path, which is, like I said before with David, is right ahead, unless you're having a change of direction, but yours is straight ahead. So we need to bring you parallel, looking straight square on at your path here. So bringing your hip into square, your shoulder into square, because usually if the hip's back, the shoulder's back. So bringing both of these into the front, which also brings the right hip and right shoulder back from focusing so much on the future. So bringing you back, basically back into alignment and back into balance. And as this happens, there's a movement like this at your hips. Doesn't make that noise, but it just feels almost squeaky. Bringing your hips into forward, squared up with the your path here, looking forward. And this already shifts energy at the back of your lower back, which I'm already feeling moving and shifting out. And I feel this squareness. This is going to help you stay focused on the moment and stay grounded, stay present and practical, and using your common sense instead of panicking or fearing or having that sort of swing that's going on, that emotional swing. So everything now feels squared up as you face your path and prepare to move forward. This is how you weather the storm, by making sure that you're in alignment, in balance, every moment of the day as best as possible. And if you find that you're out of balance a bit, or you're tipping from one side to the other, or tilting from one side to the other, then you can be aware of it and do something to bring yourself back into alignment. And sometimes it's that physical movement, because without realizing it, we may be tilting back. And when we stop and think of our body and we go, oh, actually, I am, it's time to get back into a square position with my path. So your path is right ahead. How it's going to look is uncertain, but it is solid ground. So the solid ground is just what you've been encouraged to trust as you take one step forward. It doesn't matter if it's solid ground yet, paces and paces and meters in front of you, because you're not there right now. So that's future thinking. So bringing that back into the now, and just as long as you can get your next step on solid ground, that's all you need. And then the next step on solid ground when you go to take it. So as long as solid ground's here right in front of you, all is going to be fine. And this is part of adapting right now and weathering this storm, is just as long as you've got solid ground under you now, as long as the facts that you're dealing with at the moment and things going on for you are reasonably okay and reasonably solid, that's all you need to think about. So be careful you're not jumping too far ahead of yourself as well. As long as you've got solid ground right in front of you, which you do. Solid ground is right here. I can't see further ahead, and I don't care to, because it's not important right now. But what is right before you, at least the next few steps, is solid ground. So you can trust in the solid ground that you are walking on at this time. Let's grab a healing energy card to see what that wants to add here, Annick. And I trust this resonates with you. So nice big breath. And your healing energy card is this. How interesting is this going to be when I read it? Time Tunnels, card 17. Karmic healing. Looking for the teaching and the lessons from the past. Time to heal and move forward. Healing fear. Time travel into the past or future for healing. Courage, wisdom and freedom. This is about time, and this specifically talks about past, future. So this already brings a clarification, a confirmation of what I've been talking about. It's past healing, it's future healing. But this is very much just bringing a highlight to that. I really feel that what's really important for you at this time, Annick, is to stay grounded and present in the moment. As things come up, then you can look at them, look at the past stuff that you can heal, and then put it aside so you can get back into grounded, centered space in this moment. If you're fearing the future, be honest about it. Deal with that fear, let it go, and bring yourself back into alignment, into this moment, this present moment. So it's about looking for the teaching in that, but also staying present and feeling courage, wisdom and freedom, that everything's going to be okay as you move forward. So this does bring up fear. This card can be a very confronting card, so there might be fear present. And I feel if you can bring your focus into your body, into this present moment, I feel like that's going to really help you shift out of your fear and adapt to what's going on. And, you know, your fear of the unknown may be something to explore, maybe in your journal as well, as you prepare, just to trust in one step at a time. So thanks so much, Annick. I trust this resonates. Thanks so much, and thanks for your support. Namaste. So that's the end of our healing session today. Thank you so much for joining me. Thanks to everyone who was on my list today and for your support. If you would love to be on it next month, then I look forward to connecting with you in April. It will be towards the end of the month, and I'll let you know the dates as we get into April in the first week or two. So I will be back on Tuesday with our Patron Healing List event, and we have 30 or 40 people on that list. If you want to be a part of it, just have a look on my Patreon page. It's the $15 pledge level. Gives you access to that healing event if it's something that inspires you, or you can just come back and connect with it, whether you're on the list or not, and see what you can receive. So thanks for connecting. If you have questions, don't hesitate to contact me through my website at templeofbalance.com.au. Have a fantastic rest of your day, and I will connect with you again sometime soon. So thank you so much, and bye-bye for now. See ya.